Welcome back, everybody. It's been quite some time since our last episode. This is Burke,
And I'm Sean.
and we're back for episode 17 of the Clappercast. And we have a lot to talk about because we've put this episode off for a while.
Yeah, we've got the entire second round and the start of the third here, so
And
settle in, folks.
I'm going to take the blame on that. I've had to move, so
So I'm just going to cue the Nashville crowd chant here. It's all your fault. It's all your fault.
yeah, I'll take that. I'll accept that blame because it's true. Yep, had to move, and unfortunately, the podcast had to take a seat for a minute or two.
Are you telling me that it's not priority over life?
Depends whose life.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
it's up there, but I mean, moving is top billing. So, yeah. Anyway, I guess we have a lot to cover, so we should probably get into it here.
I think so.
What series even ended first? I guess Carolina and the Islanders.
Carolina and Islanders by far.
What the fuck?
I don't know. That was like we almost got that as wrong as we possibly could have. We both picked the Islanders in 5, and
Brutal.
Carolina swept.
Yeah.
That's
Fucking
almost
Islanders.
as wrong as it could be. And I don't even know how.
I mean, I guess that makes Pittsburgh an even worse loser. So it's okay.
Yeah, that was actually one of the first times a team has swept and then been immediately swept in a long time, actually. That's not a very common occurrence.
Very impressive. I didn't really watch that series too much, but was it just like Leonard reverting to human mode, or was it?
Carolina has this weird... You know that whole like aggressive trappy type thing Vegas does, right? I've talked about it before. They kind of do that, but it's like aggressive forecheck, where they are on you. Like if you're a puck carrier entering their zone, Carolina's got someone on you before you even have the puck. Like they are on top of it, and they just play so high tempo, so energetic that it's hard for a team like the Islanders, coached by Trotz, going to be more slow down a little bit and kind of that old school like you create the pace with when you have the puck. But Carolina just does it on their own.
Yeah,
they don't care about that. And I mean, like we've said going into the playoffs, energetic as hell coach. Like Brendan Moore's into it. Like the team is just youthful, energetic, and they've got that camaraderie, that team spirit that they all just focus on the one single goal, and they're all dedicated on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It was kind of a surprise.
I did not expect that.
I don't think anybody expected that.
No. And I mean, it also doesn't help when the Islanders scoring just stopped.
Yeah.
I don't think they had actually scored a goal for the first 2 or 3 games.
No, they didn't even score 5 goals because Boston just beat Carolina last night 5-2, and that was more goals than the Islanders scored all series.
And not to mention that the first goal the Islanders scored was actually an own goal that it deflected off a defenseman or something.
Oh yeah, wasn't it Slavin or something?
He's on the ice a lot, probably.
Yeah. So way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck?
That's basically the only reaction we can have here, right?
You know what it is? It's because they didn't play at Nassau. They played at Barclays.
Yeah.
They
Honky
lost.
just isn't a replacement.
They lost as soon as that happened.
Or if you ask Don Cherry, it's because the goalies in the Islander Stadium have to sit in the stands.
Yeah.
He actually made a point about that, but he was actually trying to bash Carolina for having the goalies sit in the stands in their rink because it was too small. It wasn't built for hockey. But they showed a clip from Barclays. So
he's stuck in the days where you wear white at home, I guess.
I guess so.
So he thinks reverse. Yeah, I mean, they swept when they were playing at Nassau. They've swept the Penguins, and then they got swept in Brooklyn. How much more evidence do you need that you need to play every round at Nassau? If
I were whoever's in charge of this decision, whoever wants the Islanders to play in Nassau, that is like the first slide front page evidence I would be bringing to whoever's saying no to this.
Yeah.
That look what happens when we play in Nassau. Look what happens when we play in Barclays.
Yeah.
We need to change this immediately. We'll
Exhibit A. It's just a big photo slide of sweep.
Yep.
Exhibit B.
It's the
Reverse,
Islanders being
yeah.
swept.
So
I think I don't. That's.
I mean, if the argument is money, right? Like you make more money at Barclays because it has more seating. I think. You probably make more money with more games and a longer playoff run. So play in the place where everyone's pumped up and it's loud as fuck. Don't play in the place that looks like you're playing in some Czech league barn with the car in the corner and everyone's got the Skoda
Excuse me,
stickers.
Honky is the biggest fan. Like, gotta give him some credit here.
Yeah, but he takes up like
Takes up an entire
100 seats.
It's just an entire triangle of seats in the corner. Like, those are top seats.
It's
like,
fucking stupid. It literally looks like the Spangler Cup, and there's like a car in the corner, and they all have the Skoda stickers on their helmets and shit. It looks like that. Like, it's so stupid. The first time I saw them play there, I thought it was like a European game. Like, you know, like, yeah, we played the first couple games of the season in like Sweden or something.
Yeah.
Not, this is in New York.
Well, and the other thing too is like you look around in the seats and it just, you can tell that they're just like piece dropped into it.
Yeah.
Like they aren't like properly aligned to a hockey rink, because there's some that aren't even like facing the rink properly. They're like straight on in a corner.
Yeah, and they have like a big beam
across
in front of their seats and stuff.
So
it's like obstructed viewing seating or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. Not cool.
It's not a great arena.
It's no bueno. What was the second one to end?
Actually,
Columbus?
it would have been Columbus, yeah.
Columbus, Boston. Well, my pick is out.
Yeah, I got Boston in 6. I got it 100% right.
He nailed it.
So I'm taking pride on that one.
Yeah. Who was the difference maker that we said? Who was the difference maker we said in the Carolina Islanders series? I can't remember.
I think I said Mrazek.
So you were right for half of the series, I guess.
But to be honest, I actually can't remember. I forgot to write that one down. I only put down that we took the Islanders in 5.
Yeah,
but,
I think. Yeah, I don't know.
We probably had the goalies.
Very, very forgettable.
Yeah.
It's been a while. But yeah, in Columbus, I think that I said Bobrovsky. He had to keep up his play, and he played pretty good.
Yeah, he did. That was the best we've seen Bob play all playoffs long.
He's definitely
ever.
Upped his game in the contract talks, and it'll be very interesting. I think Columbus, no matter who wins the cup, Columbus is going to be one of the biggest storylines of the playoffs because they did so well, and they have all these pending UFAs.
Ooh, so hot take from earlier today. Bobrovsky put his downtown Columbus condo for sale today.
Oh.
Or it is now anyways. So
what's the hot take?
Yeah, that is it. Okay. The big story, I should say, not hot take.
Okay. Because the hot take would be like he's buying a bigger apartment or something.
I think that was the top comment on the thread I saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's for sale, so that's, speculation wild that he's planning on leaving already.
Yeah.
On the other hand, or on the other side of that anyways, I think Duchesne said like he'd be happy to sign there or something.
I saw that. He said it'd be like a really great thing or something
to
sign. I think he'll sign. I'm not sure about the Russians. I guess Dzingel might. I don't know.
I don't think he didn't play very well.
No, he got scratched a couple times.
Yeah, he was scratched. He didn't produce like he should have. I don't think he's going to get a contract there. He's definitely not going to get the raise that you might predict him to, I don't think, because of that performance.
No.
But I'm still concerned, or I'm still not looking forward to whatever team has to overpay to get him because of free agency. That's inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, they have to pick up a goalie. Keep Kincaid and Korpisalo.
I'm wondering
probably
if
aren't good enough.
I'm wondering if they give Korpisalo the starter role.
Is he ready for that?
I don't know. But
I don't know. It's
at a
just
certain
such
point you do
a up in the air future for that team because they looked so good.
Yeah.
And it can all be taken away so fast because they lose some key players. I think Panarin has more of a chance of staying at this point.
Just because he's...
I did think it was pretty horseshit that they asked him right after they got eliminated, are you going to stay? It's like,
yeah, that's a
give
dumb
him
question.
give him a break here.
That's just a bad question.
What do you expect someone's going to answer after losing in the playoffs? Like, let's just get out of there. You're not going to get anything useful. You're just pissing a guy off. But, I mean, he's still pretty much undecided. So I do think there's a big chance he goes to Florida because Quenneville is there. And they got the cap space. And it's Miami.
Yeah.
And he's a Russian.
He wanted to stay on the East Coast. Was one of the main things for his contract. Or his next place, I guess.
Yeah. I could see him for sure landing there. And I don't know about Bobrovsky.
Well, from the sounds of it, they're almost a package deal. And
I guess they're homies.
I think Florida is going to be in the market for a goalie.
Yeah.
I think this is where Luongo steps aside and takes a backup role. I think it's probably time. I think he's kind of been a 1A, 1B type deal with
Optimus Rhyme.
Yeah. And I think it might be the point because Luongo's been getting hurt a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ready to quit. I don't think he should yet to retire. I think he's still good enough to stay. But I don't think he's able to be a starter anymore.
Yeah.
So Panarin and Bobrovsky is a package deal, like was speculated when they both have the same agent now. Could be a realistic possibility.
Man, Florida could be filthy next season. You got like Barkov, Huberdeau, Panarin. Who else?
Various other players.
No, they got. What's his name? One other really good player. I'm forgetting his name. Nah.
He's so good.
He got hurt this season and came back. He's like an Italian name.
The only name I could think of is Marchessault.
Yeah, Marchessault and Riley. Nah. I'll think of it. Does it start with a V? I don't know. He like broke his leg this season. Fuck. This is gonna bug me. I'll think of it like mid-episode. Anyway,
yeah. Just jump in when you remember it.
So they're good. Look very promising, especially with Quenneville as the coach.
Yeah.
And Panarin got along really well with him. So yeah.
Anyways, to talk about the actual series.
Yeah.
We're talking about Columbus's off season, but how about the actual series? Because this was a pretty good, pretty fun to watch. It was physical, like every single game. I think until the last one, every single game was very, very physical from the start.
And that last one had that McAvoy hit.
And the last one, it got physical. It didn't start it, but it definitely ramped up by the end of the first, I guess, whenever McAvoy got kicked out or penalized.
Yeah, he got a 2-minute minor, you mean?
I forgot about that.
Yeah. That was a really good series. I would have loved to see it go to 7. Because we had so many game 7s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Tuukka Rask played unreal.
He's really stepping up for the Bruins.
Yeah.
That the saves he's making are just keeping that team in the games. And Boston's best line in the league. They haven't been producing offensively too much, but their depth has been killing it for them so far.
Yeah, their depth has been stepping it up for sure.
Like, they were getting some really good shifts out of like Charlie Coyle and Mojo.
Yeah,
Mojo's just like producing big time. I think he got a couple of power play goals against Carolina yesterday.
Yeah, and
but is it Nordstrom?
Yeah,
I think Nordstrom's been good. DeBrusk is a threat. Like, he's fast as hell.
Mm-hmm.
It's like fast physical wrecking ball. Like, these guys are just great for changing the momentum and keeping Columbus from taking over the games.
Yeah, and St. Patrice doing his shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that top line is so good. And it's even better because Bergeron and Marchand kill penalties.
Those guys are all, like, every single situation they are useful.
Yeah. So Pasta doesn't do that, obviously, but Marchand and Bergeron are just out there all the time, and they're out there in the dying minutes, of games when they're down by, or when they're up a goal, and they're just clutch.
And
they may not be scoring, but they're shutting down too.
Yeah, and right? I think this particular matchup, or on Bergeron, like Columbus didn't really have anything to counter that. They were playing like Pierre-Luc Dubois against Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah, and Bergeron was destroying.
Yeah.
It's got like that, what, like a 60% face-offs or something?
Oh, at least I imagine. But it's just that much experience differential with the league is very, very difficult for a rookie to overcome in the playoffs. Well, actually, he's not. I don't think he's a rookie. But
no, he's been in the league for a little bit.
Young player like that doesn't have any of the experience that Bergeron has.
That's a tough matchup.
So even though they weren't producing per se, they were still reliable. And they did a really good job, I think, overall of shutting down the top producers on Columbus.
Yeah, and Columbus was one of the hottest teams, too, and Boston found a way to shut them down. And
which I think, compared to Tampa anyways, this is where the value of grit and physicality come into the playoffs. That Columbus was able to just take control because they could dominate Tampa Bay in those factors. And not just in like big hits, but just in the gritty, the grinding, and just engaging physically. That Boston did that and didn't let Columbus take advantage of them in that way.
I think also an important factor in the series was power plays. You saw Columbus's power play was on fire against Tampa Bay. And Tuukka Rask definitely played better than Vasilevsky did. Vasilevsky let in some untimely goals, whereas Tuukka Rask made very timely saves and kept Boston in the game a lot of the time. So I think Boston is just a better team.
Yeah.
Especially in playoffs. So
I'm gonna say it again. I think Boston is one of potentially the best built team in the league.
Yeah, they're built for regular season success, but also playoff success because they have just a deep team that contributes in a lot of ways. And since Cassidy's taken over, they've been very successful.
Yeah. They've got a, like, this is, we've been saying this as a joke all season, but they have a team.
Yeah.
Like, they truly do have a team top to bottom of players. Regular season, we know, especially out east, is more speedy, more scoring, more that type of stuff. They can cover that. Playoffs, it turns into physical, it turns into grit. They can do that.
They've got leadership that has been there, done that. They've got Stanley Cup winning pedigree.
Yeah, and I mean, Tuukka Rask, even though he hasn't had playoff success yet in his career, he has a cup, but he was a backup.
Right.
He's a really good goalie that is now, again, this isn't talked about a whole lot, but he is actually stepping up way more than he has in the past for the team in the playoffs. Yeah, so they've kind of got everything going right now.
He's playing really well. And yeah, I mean, how many players were on that 2011 team?
Would have been Bergeron, Marchand, Rask.
Yeah,
and like that is their core leadership group right there.
Yeah,
those are the guys that are teaching all these younger players coming in.
Yeah,
and like establishing that culture for them. And you're seeing it when all these guys are kind of playing similar styles too.
Yeah, they've kind of played the same way for a while. But now they have more skilled guys, I would say, than 2011.
Yeah, and I think that's just a reflection of the league too.
Yeah, for sure. But they've managed to keep that through line of the Boston, hard-nosed, Charlie Coyle, like, that kind of personality and player is just Boston. Yeah. And Boston has been such a privileged city for sports.
That's insane.
And they used to be like cursed, right? And then they've won like 3 World Series, and then
they're in the Super Bowl like every other year.
I don't even know, like 8 fucking Super Bowls or something, and then a cup in 2011
and a final in 2013.
And they've won NBA titles too, I think.
Yeah. And if not, then they've been really good.
So yeah, I mean, they haven't won a title in a few months, so
yeah, it's about time. I think they're really starved for one down there or over there.
Yeah, I know the internet is very against Boston winning, but I don't care.
I'm okay with it.
They're a good team.
I'm cheering for them to come through. It's fun to watch them.
Yeah, they're a good team, and One thing we should talk about is the Marchand interview thing.
This isn't a big deal.
I love it.
It's fun to watch, and it's fun to watch the press. Like, first off, they're just offending their coworker basically, so we can't fault them for that. But they're bashing someone for giving blunt answers, like as if they're treating him like he's being like rude, disrespectful. He's such a jerk. Like, how immature is he doing this? And then they're publicly shaming him, technically behind his back. So they're not saying it to his face.
Yeah.
For doing that. So like, what you guys are kind of hypocrites here, the way you're acting.
Yeah, I just think it's dumb. To try and, I mean, the first interview, Kyle Bukauskas. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really like an ill and he didn't have any malice in his question. Just kind of joking like, hey, did you get your skates sharpened after he stomped on Atkinson's stick and broke it? And he was just skated away. And the second one, he just gave him one-word answers. And yeah, I mean, it's not like he's trying to be a dick. I think he was just trying to be funny. And
knowing Marchand, he wasn't meaning anything from it. He was just like, okay, I don't want to answer that.
I mean, the guy gave him a hard time the last interview, so
he's giving
it right back. So for Sportsnet to just be all pissy about it is just so immature and stupid. It's such a non-issue, and it's funny. Like, just how about lighten up a little bit? Yeah, like, it's just funny.
We want hockey players to have personalities.
He doesn't owe you, 6 words per sentence or whatever. He just owes you a response.
He has not filled his cliche quota. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, you ask him such a bullshit question. What are you gonna expect the typical hockey response? Like, yeah, we gotta get pucks deep. They're a good team. They got good defense. We gotta play our game, and
110%.
Yeah, like,
yeah, you gotta wipe your face in the middle, sniffle a little bit, and add in a throw your nose, and you got it.
Yeah. So
I don't. This is a non-story that Sportsnet is just.
They're pushing it because
it's out of the water.
Well, I think part of it is Toronto is all butthurt about Boston. So this is a way to kind of keep Toronto fans up in arms about
it's
Boston.
The narrative. It's the anti-Boston narrative.
I thought it was hilarious. Like, it's just so funny.
Yeah.
And
well, like, I watched the interview, the second interview where he gave like the 2 3-word answers to 4 questions. I watched that one live, and I was like, I was just kind of chuckling, like.
Yeah, it's just funny because you don't see that.
Yeah,
like,
it's like, and he didn't even just ignore the question. Like, he didn't even do like, I'm only here so I don't get fined. He answered the question in very few words.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, you guys have been doing so good, like blah 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 blah. He's like, yeah, and we're good.
To quote Kevin Malone from The Office, why use many word when few word do trick?
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny. And I thought it was just like a funny way to get back at that interviewer who asked you something you probably don't want to talk about.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure players and reporters are on fairly good terms generally, but is it really an appropriate forum for him to be like asking him that question?
Yeah.
Like, is that really an appropriate question for the situation? Are you really that close with him that you can ask that?
Yeah.
Because that's like friends ragging each other, basically.
Yeah, and it'd be like if Kyle Bukauskas was a player on the ice,
that would be trash talk.
Yeah, it'd be fine. But he's a reporter, right? I don't think he was wrong for saying it.
No.
But he picked the wrong guy to say it to.
Yeah.
And
it's honestly like, it's a lighthearted question based off of a comment that a lot of people laughed at.
Yeah.
But it didn't work in the situation. It fell flat.
And it's a Toronto reporter. Like, I think where I see it is just like boils down to Marchand doesn't owe him shit. Like, he doesn't owe him anything. He's a player in the NHL. He doesn't have to fucking give Sportsnet their soundbite. It doesn't matter. And plus...
Well, he did give them their soundbite.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, that could have been calculated, right? Fucking Rocket League. He could have done that because he knew it would get popular.
And we know Marchand at this point. We know Marchand, the hockey personality at this point.
Yeah, and he
Probably
did
did it
it
on
with
purpose.
like a bunch of other reporters after the game too.
Yeah.
After in the dressing room, he just gave one-word answers, and
Yeah.
then they were like, "Why the one-word answers, Brad?" He's just like, "Let's next question."
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, "Do you have a bet going on? Like, you can only answer so many words." He's like, "Maybe." So he never like just
Yeah.
have fun with it. Like
For
if
sure.
Kyle was worth any salt as a reporter, he would have, made fun of it with Brad at that point. I think he said like, "I see that where this is going, so I'll just keep it to one more
Yeah.
question or something." But it's like, just ask him a one-word question, like,
Yes.
"You good?" Yeah. So I just thought, yeah, it's kind of stupid that
Big
there
story
was,
out of nothing. Bunch of hypocrites.
yeah, stupid.
Funny to watch.
Yeah. So maybe let's move on to the Western Conference. Which game 7 do you want to talk about first?
Let's go Dallas St. Louis since we're going chronologically here.
Okay. That was a fun series.
Very good hockey. Very good hockey. So this one wasn't as physical as some of the other ones, but it was just good, fun hockey.
I think I said Dallas and you said Blues.
Yeah, I had Blues in 6.
So I have
2 for 4.
Yeah, I only ended up being 1 for 4.
I got the same amount of series in the second round that I did the first one. Go me.
Nice. But your percentage is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dallas played a good series, and they really got held in Game 7 by Ben Bishop.
Yeah.
They should have lost that game a lot sooner.
Yeah. So overall, yeah, Dallas was good, but that you can't play like that in Game 7.
No.
Like you can't be getting outshot like 50 to 25 heading into like partway through overtime. That is not getting you there. Like Ben Bishop saved that game for so long, and Stonehands Cogliano, his name still rings true, unfortunately.
Yeah, he could have
put it
put
away.
it away.
Like, any number of times there were golden chances near the net for Dallas. They just couldn't
they
get
had
it.
several chances, but came up short.
Yeah, and like props to St. Louis. Like they came out in Game 7, all cylinders firing.
They definitely did. They came out to win.
Yep.
And they came out to win in overtime. It was a little bit more even in overtime.
Yeah, I was a bit worried at the start because Dallas came out firing at the beginning of the first overtime.
They did, yeah.
That was kind of when I think that might have been like their highest concentration of shots in a few minute span over the game.
Which is stupid.
That's got to be.
We're saving ourselves for overtime.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna jokingly say to you. Is like Dallas was just reserving all of their energy for overtime.
Yeah.
Until when St. Louis was tired, but then I was like, well, wait, they're getting tired, hemmed in their own zone the whole
It's
game.
a solid game plan to come out in period 1 and know you're going to go to overtime. So you're conserving yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And letting Ben Bishop have the fucking night of the playoffs in net. Bold strategy. Didn't pay off.
It's a Conn Smythe performance by Ben Bishop.
Yeah, sad goalie.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, even the goal, it's not his fault at all.
No.
Like,
no.
It wasn't a bad goal. He had nothing. He couldn't do anything about that.
He got beat by
Robert Thomas. Amazing move. First off, I can't remember who he deked out.
I don't know.
I think he just toe dragged him right around off the wing, cuts in the middle of the circle, fires it over Bishop's shoulder off the post, drops right behind him, and Maroon just
taps it in
because he is right where he needs to be.
Just tap it in, Chubbs. Yeah.
So Oilers fan here, I'm stoked that Maroon scored that.
Cogliano could have.
Yeah.
He had his chance and he blew it. You blew it, Cogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not much to say. Dallas, I wonder if they'll re-sign Zuccarello or if he's going back to the Rangers.
He was really, really good.
He was good. He had some problems clearing the zone, I noticed in that Game 7. He had a few opportunities to get the puck out of Dallas's defensive zone, and he struggled a bit. But overall, he looked pretty good. He fit right into that Dallas team.
Definitely. Yeah,
he was really a key player.
Yeah.
And one player who was not was Tyler Seguin. He had a pretty bad playoffs.
Honestly, I mean, especially in that series too. That line didn't.
I noticed Jamie Benn a lot. Jamie Benn is just a built for playoffs player. He'd be amazing on Boston. Oh my God.
Oh man, Marchand, Marchand,
or
Bergeron,
Philadelphia.
and Ben.
Yeah. But Ben and Radulov were good. Radulov was worse than Ben, and then Sagan was just ass.
Yeah, I think Radulov even got demoted too.
Yeah.
But like he at least had some chances and he was engaged physically.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think I heard Sagan's name for most of any of the games.
He was invisible.
Yeah.
But Rupe Hintz,
that guy's made a name for himself. Seriously.
He is a bright star, for fucking lack of a better word here. I don't want to use that pun, but he looks like he's going to be a fucking stud.
Yeah, if not for that last game, he would be the best player on Dallas in those playoffs.
Yeah.
But now it's got to go to Bishop for just doing what he did to keep them in. But Rope Hintz,
he was all over the place all fucking playoffs.
And he did it on a broken foot.
Yeah.
For the last little bit.
Yeah. And who else? Janmark?
I think so.
He had a broken foot since like January or something.
Bishop had a broken back from carrying the team.
Yeah, obviously, especially Game 7. Surprised he went through the handshakes.
Yeah.
Broken back.
It'd be hard. You gotta,
broken spirit.
Hockey guy right there.
He's on the fucking long term with a broken spirit.
Broken feels.
Feels bad, man.
Rope Hintz. So
sick.
I don't know if his play style is going to translate to him being much more than like a third liner, but if he plays like that for a few more years, like he's going to be an elite third liner. Who cares if he moves up? Like if you have that presence in your depth on the lineup, like that goes a long way to solidifying one of the problems Dallas had being so top heavy.
Yeah, he was quick, speedy.
He's got a shot. Like he
skilled
can
player.
Contribute.
Yeah, he was definitely a bright spot.
Like
for
he
them.
could make a little niche for himself on the third line, bump up to the second if needed.
Yeah.
I imagine he could play on the top line if they need some random grit at the end of the game.
I think he was playing top line minutes.
That's a perfect situation of reward the guy for good play.
Also, Heiskanen.
He was good.
He was really good.
For a rookie in the playoffs, like that was a solid performance.
He made some bonehead plays, but way less than to be expected from a rookie D-man in playoffs.
For sure.
And on the other side, Robert Thomas is fucking beauty.
He's a little ball of energy. Seriously, like he's everywhere.
He was noticeable almost every minute of the game. Yeah. Like
if he was on the ice, you knew it. He was doing something.
He's good. What's that line? Thomas, Maroon, and Steen? I don't know, but Bozak.
Thomas and Maroon,
Bozak.
sure.
It's Bozak.
Okay.
Bozak, Maroon, and Thomas. Good line.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Oscar Sundqvist.
Yeah.
He was really, really good actually, playing in his depth role.
Yeah.
That he was noticeable. He was fast. He was physical. I don't know how much he scored, but he absolutely had chances.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, their top line, like O'Reilly and them, didn't contribute much offensively.
Terrace Smoke Show got some PPs.
Yeah.
He slapped Dallas's PP a little bit.
Yeah. But I think I have to imagine O'Reilly, like, he wasn't contributing offensively a whole lot, but shutdown player. I think.
And you said that. I think he was your pick.
He was, yeah.
To be a shutdown guy. I don't remember who I picked.
You picked second.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
hey, that was the difference. That was
accurate because he did not perform, so it made a huge difference.
Exactly.
If he was playing to the caliber that he should have been, Dallas would have had a much better chance of making it.
They could have had
to
more
the
offense.
Conference Finals.
Yeah. Against the San Jose Sharks. Nice
Your
segue.
San Jose Sharks.
Yeah.
Let's go Sharks. How do they make that into 2 syllables?
Sharks fans.
The worst chant in the league.
Maybe they just like all their promo material at the beginning accidentally typoed Sharks into 2 A's.
Yeah. And they also they have like a chant that's 1 syllable, Sharks. I don't get why they don't just use that one. Anyway.
Well, it should be Go Sharks Go. That is the 1 syllable team chant.
Yeah. Let's go Sharks. It's so dumb. Anyway, yeah.
So Colorado did not play like they did against Calgary. Now, whether or not that's because San Jose shut them down better, or they got tired, or they just couldn't do it, but Colorado was not that energetic, buzzing team that put up 45 shots a night against Calgary.
Yeah, I think the shot attempts were pretty equal, like all series. I could
so.
be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure.
If not, San Jose was leading, to be honest, because Colorado didn't even have control of a lot of the play.
No, they did not. I think that series went longer than I thought. Like, it deserved to, but Colorado snuck some games, and
yeah. The way Colorado played, it probably could have been 5, but they snuck in some goals, like you said.
Yeah,
they capitalized on a few more chances. I mean, they've got some really good players, some really good shots. So
San Jose, I mean, has a reputation for being Caps West, so they did their best to try and choke, and they ended up winning. And I mean, this is the only one I got right. San Jose. I didn't get 7 though. I think I said like 5. But yeah, I mean, they looked like a better team.
They were.
And
they were more dominant. They were more engaged. They weren't making as many dumb plays, and most importantly, Martin Jones played well again.
It was a little shaky there when they didn't have any forward scoring goals for a few games, but in Game 7, when Joe Pavelski came back and got that first goal, you just kind of knew they were going to win.
Massive energy boost.
You just knew. Like, the captain comes back from injury, hasn't played in 15 games, gets the first goal of the game on a dirty fucking tip redirect.
Yeah. That was such a nice tip, too.
You're like, okay,
yeah,
I see where this is going.
This game's
McKinnon's
done.
out of the game. Joe Pavelski just scored. Like,
yeah.
It's okay, San Jose's game to lose here now. And he ended up getting an assist on the second goal, and he drew like a fat penalty against Ian Cole, who's one of the worst D-men in the league. And
yeah, that was pretty bad when San Jose scored, and like 5 seconds later, Cole took a penalty.
Yeah. And
that's bad.
Saw that criticism of him from fans online, that he was just like a plug, like taking the worst penalties. And that was mid-season. And I remember him doing that stupid elbow on Kuznetsov, which that elbow and fucking, what's that little shithead on the Jets? Brandon Tanev. He had an elbow on Kuznetsov, and those two both together, I don't think.
Yeah, not a good season.
And then Dougie fucking Hamilton elbowed him in the head in playoffs, so it's like, fuck. And then he goes and like lights up that world tournament. Fucking Kuznetsov. Anyway, kind of going on a tangent here. Ian Cole, yeah, is just such a plug. He's kind of like that Jack Johnson play where you get rid of the box and take another penalty. Yeah. So
I did like Nikita Zadorov on Colorado, though.
Yeah, he was fucking monster.
Yeah, some good playoff hockey, I think.
Yeah, he's a huge hitter. I think he was the hit leader of the playoffs.
It has to be. I'm pretty sure every other shift is like, and Zadorov like nails that guy. Like, just something physical.
Yeah. Yeah, he would have had the hammer icon in, what was that, like NHL
03?
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah. He's like the next Adam Foote.
And I want to talk here because we talked about Nikita Kucherov getting pissy through this series. So I want to talk about Nathan MacKinnon doing the same.
Right.
So this wasn't as pronounced, and it wasn't directed at the other team like Kucherov and Stamkos did. But in the middle of that series, I think it was like through games 3 and 3, 4, 5-ish, the Sportsnet panels brought this up, showing MacKinnon after his shifts and after his shots and stuff, where he'd be skating back to the bench, and he's like shaking his head, and he's like slamming his stick into the boards, and you can just tell he is pissed off.
Yeah, there's times where he tries to dangle somebody and then doesn't, and then he like slams his stick on the ice, and he's like, fuck!
Yeah, and you can just tell like that is not the attitude he's got to have.
Yeah, that visible frustration, the other team is just feeding off that.
For sure.
I'm sure the chirps are just relentless when they see you like that. So he's got to try and find a way to harness that to up his game and be that dominant player that he can be. Because he could have just taken over that series.
Well, remember right in Game 7 when his first shift back from the dressing room, the first thing he does, grab the puck, go on a breakaway.
Yeah.
Like, that is Nathan MacKinnon. That is the Nathan MacKinnon that the Avs need.
Yeah. He kind of got caught up looking for calls too. There was that one time, like right before the end of one period where he got like tripped up or something, and he looked for a call. It's like, come on. I mean, maybe you can argue the call, but you're a dominant player. You know you're not going to get every call. So I think that comes down to coaching a little bit. You got to kind of get your best player into the right mindset.
Yeah, and
but if he's taking himself out of the game that badly, I don't know if you can really do much.
You can. It just takes a lot of time. I think that's going to be a huge project for, is it Bednar as our coach now, I think? Yeah. That's going to be a huge project, is coming up with ways to reach him in differently, because, every player is different. Like, McKinnon clearly needs a different coaching style or a different strategy to help him harness his emotions, his energy in different ways, and to keep that in check during the game. Luckily he's not taking it out on other teams. He's not going and slashing guys after he screws up.
Right.
But you still can't be slamming your stick against the boards every other shift because you screwed up. And
Landeskog's got to get his fucking ass off the ice.
Which, to his credit, he took the blame for it.
He did.
So, you can't be doing that on the ice, but at least he owned up to it after.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I don't want to put all the blame on him, though, because Don Cherry pointed this out, too. He's right sometimes. Not very often, but he is right sometimes. Nobody on that Avs bench was manning the door. That the backup goalie was just sitting there off in the corner. He should have been on the bench opening the door for Landeskog. Because you watch Landeskog get to the bench, he's looking over, and the players are just staring out on the ice. That's the time it takes for him to manually open the door himself rather than just skate up to it when it's open.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the bench, too, because they got to be yelling at him to get the fuck off.
Yeah.
So he's gotta skate past the blue line. I mean, there's lots of things.
I mean, all he had to do is move his foot like 3 inches to the left.
Or just pop the boards.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
There's a lot of
lazy mental mistake that
mental mistake
cost
on
them
a lot of players.
Huge moment, because that would have been the 2-2 goal, and then it was still 2-1, and then San Jose scored to go up 3-1. So that
just
was
a few minutes later.
That was a big moment in the game.
Yeah, so a lot of people there kind of screwed up on that change.
A lot of people are saying San Jose is getting helped through the playoffs.
I don't disagree with them, but I don't think it comes down to that entirely.
I mean, I don't think it's a cognitive decision being made by anybody in the NHL to be like, oh, San Jose is our team, we're going to make them go through. But they're getting the calls in their favor, but I don't think it's not like a on purpose thing, you know. It's just like it just happens to be that way.
The call against Aiken was the wrong call, but you have to do that. It's what happened on the ice. They can't review that. They have to call what they decide happened on the ice. So they called it. They did their job to what they knew. Yeah. Yes, that's not. You can argue the legitimacy or the value of that offside rule, but Landeskog still has to get off the ice faster. The team still has to help him get off the ice faster. Yeah. Like, there's still some fault, most of it to be placed on Colorado for that. Yeah. And to be honest, the offside rule needs to stay as black and white as they can make it. Yeah, you can't have this gray area.
I was very surprised to see everybody online saying that rule needs to be changed. It's like, what are you talking about?
A lot of people don't like the fact that someone being a centimeter offside in an inconclusive camera view can overturn a goal.
I get the review rule, but people were talking about like how a player who's changing and has no impact on the play should be offside. And it's like, what the fuck?
He's still on the ice.
He's still on the ice. You can't. That'd be like having a guy changing and then somebody comes out the other side of the bench, right? Like, sometimes that is a penalty-worthy play. Yeah. For too many men. So I was really surprised to see people that up in arms about it.
Both of Landeskog's feet were on the ice still. Yes, he wasn't engaged in the play, but he was still on the ice. Yeah. And, again, I'm bringing up Don Cherry because he kind of had an interesting idea about that, where you put like a 1.5 foot deep box in front of the bench that is used to determine a player being out of the play. Like, if they're there when they're going for a change, they're out of the play. There's more intricacy than that needs to be put into it, but it's an interesting solution.
that's making this more complicated than it needs to be because it's so easy to get off the ice.
Yeah.
Like, everybody who's ever played hockey knows you get off the ice as quick as you can. You don't coast to change, you get off so that somebody with fresh legs can get on.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer you stay, the more likely it is you get called for too many men. So get your ass off the ice. It's not the rules' fault. It's your fault. Landeskog owned up to it.
Yeah. I think that's what this boils down to.
Yeah, it's just
ultimately.
like hop the boards or have somebody man the gate.
Yeah.
It's that fucking easy.
And yeah.
Yeah. And what else was the storyline in that series?
We can talk about of all of the teams, I think right now Logan Couture is the favorite for the Conn Smythe.
I would say so.
Like by far, like of every single player who's thrown up, who can be like getting votes for it, it's got to be Couture.
Yeah.
So I mean,
let's see. So you've got San Jose, probably Couture, and then
second place to Jones.
St. Louis, got Binnington.
So I put Schwartz there.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because he's been playing really, really well. He had that amazing Game 7 against Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think he did as much against Dallas, but he's still a very good player on that team. He's doing a lot for them.
I think he got like the first couple goals or something for St. Louis. Maybe the first one. Yeah.
So I had Schwartz in first for St. Louis, but Binnington's pretty close as well. I might even look into one of their defensemen, like Pietrangelo has been really good as well.
Yeah, okay. And then what about the East Coast? You've got Carolina, Fogle maybe?
I'd put Slavin.
Yeah.
Slavin, or actually I wouldn't even give it to Mrazek because he was kind of hurt for a bit there now. So if he
played pretty good.
Yeah, so Mrazek's got to kind of play out the rest of the playoffs here if he wants to win it, but I think Slavin...
Williams has been good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And then how about Boston?
Rask.
I
think of all the goalies, he's the most likely to get it as a goalie.
Yeah.
I think Boston's been a solid team effort, but Rask has been the individual who's contributed the most.
Right. Yeah, I think Couture's probably up there.
Yeah. So
with those guys, yeah. So let's do a little bit of a primer for the conference finals.
Yeah. So luckily
after one game has been played.
Yeah. Luckily, we've got the one game to go off of here because I have no idea.
I'm going to pick Boston in 3.
Ooh, yeah. Actually, yeah, we can go, 6 games left in the series, so who cares about 7?
So let's start with that Boston-Carolina series then. I gotta say Boston.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've been picking against Carolina every round, but I really think Boston is a different beast than the Capitals being shitty without so many players and the Islanders being
overperforming.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think they've got a solid team, but I don't think they're good enough.
And regardless of the outcome of last game, I would have picked Boston anyway.
Same here. Which, yeah,
I was picking Boston.
We can't prove that, but yes, I was picking Boston anyways.
Yeah, I'd say Boston in 6.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've got the same.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Marchand, difference maker. Rask has got to keep up his performance, and then on Carolina, whoever is playing in net for them, was it McElhinney last game?
Mrazek's back.
Okay, I couldn't watch that game. I was driving during the whole game, so
yeah. Mrazek's back. He's my main difference maker because that's going to be the key. Is I don't think Carolina's really going to get through Boston too much for goals.
Yeah.
So they need to make sure they don't give up very many. So Mrazek / whoever's in net. I'm assuming Mrazek's back for good now.
Yeah.
That he needs to prevent a lot of goals. Now, the first game, there was already quite a bit of questionable reffing. Which actually, did you watch that clip I sent you of Svechnikov?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I don't think it was intentional hit.
No.
Yeah, you were right because you pointed out, was it Coyle?
Corrali.
Corrali. Yeah. You see his face, and he's like,
He's got like the biggest oh shit.
yeah.
Like he's doing that thing when you're like running full speed and there's like a glass door in front of you, and he's got that like face.
Like
it's gonna be a good noise on the mic to listen to.
Yeah, I don't think that was intentional.
No. And Svechnikov turned around at the last second. He's flying full speed backwards. Like that's not a good
look.
Yeah, you can't do that. Like you got to look where
you're
going.
Can't do that. What were the Dougie Hamilton penalties like? Because apparently they were soft.
A little bit, but I mean the one that he got. Okay, so at the same time, Svechnikov ran into Corrali / whatever way you want to look at it. That there was no penalty on that, but on the play, Hamilton reverse hit someone on Boston. Now he didn't do like a Forsberg reverse hit where you just kind of like stand up and brace yourself. Like he thrusted it. Like there's a subtle like shoulder and upper arm thrust into a Bruins player's head, so he got a roughing penalty on that.
Right, because he made head contact, probably.
High contact, yeah. I won't say for sure it was head was the principal point, but there was high contact.
That's such a hard call because I remember in the finals last year, Oshie had that reverse hit on Theodore, I think. No call, and Theodore was like bleeding because I think his face hit like Oshie's Oshie's head, his helmet.
I think it was Miller.
Oh, okay, it might have been, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
There was no call, and a lot of people were upset about it, but it's not like Oshie threw his head into the guy's head, so he just tried like you were saying, that Forsberg hit.
Yeah,
he did that basically. He didn't throw an elbow or anything, so that I can see not being a penalty, but I didn't see this Dougie one. So, but it sounds like if he made more of a movement, like with his arm or something,
I would say there is definite upper arm movement
because he
that contact
fucking
high on a
throws elbows like nobody's business. So
yeah,
I could see.
And then he got that. I think they got scored on that, and then he immediately took another or interference call. And I can't remember if they scored on that one, but there was a few things early in the game that they missed against Carolina,
right?
And then a few things that got called potentially in Boston's favor. So I think that evened out. Yeah. Ultimately, Boston capitalized more, or they were able to capitalize more because theirs led to more direct power plays.
Right.
But, probably going to be a storyline to keep an eye on through the rest of this one.
I know fucking the storyline in all of Canada is that Boston gets helped through the playoffs because they beat the Leafs all the time. And just like San Jose, I don't think it's fucking there's not anything to that. It's just Boston scores in the power play, and other teams don't. Yeah. So, it was a soft call. Maybe. Did you get a soft call power play too? Probably. So, who cares? My hand's bleeding. That's neat. So
interesting.
I gotta pick Boston.
This hockey guy over here is just gonna power right through it.
Yeah, I don't really care that much. So, you wanna know how I got this fucking scab? I was cooking sausages, and I was like trying to like flip them in the frying pan, and some fucking like juice went onto my hand, and it made like a little blister. Okay. And I was just like picking at the scab, and it like exploded, and
so you just like burned your finger.
My hand's bleeding now. Yeah. So that's cool. So, you got to be really careful when you cook sausages.
Yeah, just PSA for all the listeners out there.
Yeah. But how about that West Coast series? What are you picking, Blues or San Jose?
It's gonna be hard because I don't know who's gonna choke less.
Yeah, this is the choke off.
This is literally the West Coast choke off.
Yeah,
like St. Louis was the big chokers for a while, and then San Jose took that reign.
It's just a BDSM series.
Who
can choke off the hardest?
who's gonna choke the
who's gonna tap?
Man, yeah. So I mean, I'm on the Blues bandwagon for the rest of the playoffs. So like, I want them to win.
Right.
I feel like they still have that momentum carrying them forward. I want to say they're gonna win. I'm going to pick them to win in 7. I think this again. I mean, we've seen the West has been longer series.
Yeah.
I think.
True.
This is going to be a very tough one. That's actually been completing quite a bit.
Looks like it's kind of stopped. It's drying. It's drying already. Yeah, I just got stigmata on my hands. Yeah.
Yeah, like we've seen longer series in the West, and this is not going to be no exception. That these are both really, really good teams that are, St. Louis is slightly more defensive, San Jose slightly more offensive, but they're built really similarly, I think.
I agree with that. I could see them matching up pretty equally against each other.
Overall,
I think it's going to be a long series.
I'm excited to watch this one.
I'm going to pick San Jose in 7 because they are chokers. So I don't see any team winning in less than 7.
I'm going to... I do not think that the refs are making San Jose get through. But the way that things have been falling into San Jose's lap, in a sense, that I think they have a really, really good chance of progressing again.
Okay, I'm going to call it. So Game 7, third period. Let's say 10 minutes left. San Jose's down 1 goal. The Blues get 2 5-minute major penalties at the same time. So San Jose has a full 5-minute 5-on-3 power play, and they're going to score 8 goals on it, and they're going to win to go to the finals.
Okay, so that's a really good prediction. I think we'll have to keep an eye on that storyline there.
And LeBanc gets 10 points somehow on that power play.
He gets the goal and the secondary assist.
Yeah. He banks it off the wall to himself, so he gets an assist and a goal. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently that his name is it's just scrambled in French. Doesn't mean anything.
Huh.
'Cause bank is a word. I don't know what it means. Maybe it means bank, but it has the wrong le and la. It has the wrong one. So it's just nothing. His last name. So
Kevin LeBanc, you are nothing.
So I don't know if he's actually from Quebec. I think is he American?
His name's Kevin.
Yeah. I don't know. Corey Crawford is French Canadian.
True.
So
Kevin Lowe is born in Quebec too.
Yeah.
He's English speaking. Quebecois.
You really never know.
Yeah, true.
But his name's just nothingness. So it's kind of
probably something that just got lost in translation or anglicized on the way down.
Yeah, probably. Hey. So. Yeah, he's been a stud.
Yeah, he's been good. Timo Meier, energetic as hell, and he's getting a ton of chances.
Yeah.
Tomas Hertl.
Oh man,
he's actually making a good case. He's probably the 3rd candidate for the Conn Smythe on San Jose.
Yeah. Jumbo's been good too. He's been more of a defensive role almost.
Yeah, he's kind of altered a little bit. He's not.
He's been there was one play in Game 7 where he did a nice back check on Rantanen or something. Yeah, he's helping the team where he can. Yeah. He's not in that top scoring role anymore, but he's still there.
Yeah, he's not doing that thing where he puts up 15 goals and 85 assists in the season.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah. He's a stud. I really want to see him win the cup. So that's why I'm on the Sharks bandwagon.
The concern I have with San Jose is their defensive injuries. Because I know Carlson's really struggling apparently.
And Vlasic.
And Vlasic's foot's messed up. He's having trouble turning and pivoting and pushing off and stuff.
And Burns plays 35 minutes a game.
I think he's played an hour more than everybody else in the playoffs, individually.
It's insane.
So
insane.
He's always been a bit of a workhorse. I don't have too much concern about his stamina, but that's a lot on one guy whose defensive abilities are constantly in question.
Yeah. Drew Doughty has pointed out that he's not the greatest.
Yeah, buddy, as in the words of Drew Doughty, buddy, you suck at hockey.
Well, he said that to Patrick Maroon, and he just got a series winner. So I think Patrick Maroon is...
he's good enough at hockey when he needs to be.
Yeah, we should probably mention that. That was pretty cool. Hometown guy scoring goal against hometown goalie.
Yeah, so like I said,
in front of his kid.
Huge fan of Patrick Maroon. There's nothing I love seeing more on the ice than that Patrick Maroon grin when he does something. When he's either being a shithead, when he's scoring goals, that grin on his face, and seeing him and Connor celebrating with that grin on his face is just implanted in my memory. It's such a good sight.
His post-game interview is pretty good.
Yeah. So I watched the Sportsnet one, but I guess on the NBC one, he was talking about the TSN turning point.
Yeah. Yeah,
which that's pretty good. That's just funny. He's
TSN turning point out there. Yeah.
And actually, in the Sportsnet one, he started choking up in when he was giving his answers there.
Oh yeah.
Like he was choking up a little bit with just the magnitude of that goal and like his kid being there and just
He's
everything.
an emotional guy.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And he's got personality. He's fun to watch. I'm super happy he got that.
He had a really slow start to the year too. So it's cool to see him kind of turning around with the entire roster of the Blues, basically. Yeah. Oh, another thing that I just thought of that we should talk about, because the Blues reminded me of it, is Vigneault got hired by Philly.
What is Philly's strategy here with these coaches?
Amass all the head coaches you can so that collectively your coaching unit will be good, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, maybe like all of these coaches are bad at one thing and another one of the two they brought in is good at it.
So they got Mike Yeo.
Yeah, Vigneault's head coach. Mike Yeo and Michel Therrien are assistants.
Like, what the fuck?
Like,
did Vigneault get fired and Michel Therrien get hired as the Habs coach? Was that how it happened?
No, it was Julien and Therrien. Because Julien got fired in Boston, and then Therrien got fired like immediately after, and then Julien got hired in Montreal right after.
No, but like before, because Vigneault coached the Habs back in the day, right?
Oh, I don't remember
an
that.
Assistant there, maybe. But I wonder, like, if he was there right before Therrien.
This is before my knowledge of coaches. I have no idea.
I don't know. Fuck. But I like Vigneault, but I don't like those assistants. Maybe Yo is a better assistant than a head coach.
Could be. I've heard Therrien's a decent assistant.
I mean, not if you ask Ryan Whitney.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of him, especially after listening to Spit and Chicklets and stories about Therrien being just a
old school.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll do well in Philly. I've really.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a fan of Vigneault as a coach either, but I think he might do pretty well with Philly's team. I think he does better with an older roster. And their core is still
Giroux.
Giroux and
Couturier.
Yeah, some guys who are a little bit older, some veterans. So I think he might do a little bit better in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, who even is their core at this point besides Giroux and Couturier?
Voracek,
yeah. Like their top line. I guess Couturier is probably second line, right?
Yeah. I would have said Simmons, but I forgot he got traded.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean,
Kimmo Timonen, Chris Pronger,
yeah,
Jason Smith,
the Philly core we all know.
Ray Emery. Yeah. Any other news? Oh fuck.
I mean, Oilers GM
Holland,
search. Yeah. So, hey, Ken Holland, like, he's probably the most highly reputed GM in the league over the last couple of decades here. So. I mean, it's a good hire on paper.
Fair thing, fair praise. I mean, Red Wings is a pretty successful franchise. You might have heard of some of their players and their cups.
I don't think he was. I think he kind of jumped in after a good portion of that was built, but he still supplemented and maintained that to have like 15 plus more years of playoffs afterwards.
Yeah, and I think he had to deal with some ownership pressures of maintaining that streak of making playoffs.
Yeah, so my main concern was how all those players got overpriced loyalty contracts and how Detroit's drafting and development took a bit of a nosedive at the end of the last decade and into the early parts, like probably 2007 to 2013 or so. But you're good for so long, they have to do that by trading away their top picks. And even if they kept their first round, they're picking like 25th plus, which is like no better than a second, no better than a third. Like the drop off from 1 to 25 is significant in terms of projected value.
Yeah, and he still made some good picks. I mean, he's made like what? Andreas Athanasiou, happy to see you.
Yep.
Hronik.
Yep.
Mantha.
Larkin.
Like,
and that's the counter is that now that Detroit's ownership has committed to the rebuild, they aren't pressuring him to keep the streak going. Once that turnaround happened, they've actually done a really good job at putting in a young core in Detroit. Mm-hmm. So they are actually started on a pretty good path here to rebuild fairly quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm not the criticisms against him in that sense are valid because they did directly happen. But I think there is also more to it than just he made a bad contract, he made bad signings, whatever.
And really the only really bad one is Abdelkader.
I think, Eriksson and Kronwall are a bit up there too for
Eriksson's
where they are
looked
now.
a lot worse a couple of years ago when Eriksson was like complete ass.
Yeah.
But I think he's kind of been a bit better since then.
probably
He hasn't
adjusted
had
his
to play
game.
like top line minutes or something, but
Yeah.
um
De Keyser's looking a little bit off as well, but that's not.
yeah, he
bad.
was super highly touted when he came in though, and he's like a Michigan kid.
Yeah.
So
There's a little bit more to that.
yeah, I think he played like the University of Michigan or something.
Yeah.
But,
And
yeah, I mean that happens on every team though. You can't really say any team in the entire league has a full roster of good team-friendly contracts, right?
And this is exactly what he said in his introductory press conference. I'm going to make mistakes. Everyone does. The only thing is that I have to make more, good decisions than mistakes. And he was very upfront with that. Like, it's going to happen. Everyone does it. I'm going to. It's just a matter of using the information and the facts at hand to make the best decision that I can in the time. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, that happens. And he's already actually gone scouting the Oilers prospects. Like I'm pretty sure he's down watching the AHL playoffs right now because Bakersfield's still in it.
That's cool.
So
Get some more awareness of the system and
Yeah.
who's coming up and see them play firsthand.
for sure.
What are your thoughts on his statement that the team is, like he said, we're talking playoffs in 2019-20? What
Yeah.
do you think about that as
Well,
an Oilers fan?
First off, at this stage, you can't really say anything but that. To be like to Oilers fans, you can't be like, oh yeah, we're gonna have 3 more years of shit.
We're going to suck for a while,
Yeah.
and then maybe one day we'll make playoffs.
Exactly. You can't really do that at this point. As honest and as open as I think he's looking to be, you don't really want to be just doing that. But when you look at the statement, you look at the team, and you look at how they did this year, that this is largely the same roster, missing some pieces, some core pieces from the team that made the playoffs 2 years ago, that the core's still there, and most of them are developing to be better, actually, now than they were then. And the Oilers were actually reasonably in competition for a playoff spot until the last 3 weeks of the season, when they finally kind of tired out. That they were actually, once Hitchcock came in, before injuries to Clefbaum and Russell happened, like they were solidly in a division spot. And, this is 30 games into the year.
Yeah, they could have easily been in that Colorado spot and played the Calgary Flames in the
Exactly.
first round, which would have been insane.
If they didn't have those injuries, like they were missing 3 of their best 6 defensemen for a good portion of the season. Like Sekera didn't get back until well into the new year, and Clefbaum missed a month or 2. Russell missed a month. And like that's huge for a team that doesn't have the defensive depth ready. So if the team wasn't playing, and we talked about this in the past about Columbus playing meaningful games down the stretch, getting them ready for the playoffs more than Tampa. Edmonton had been playing meaningful games for so long that eventually that's going to wear you out. And you can't win every single meaningful game, but eventually they're going to lose some of them, and they got to that point with 3 weeks left where they started losing the meaningful games, which was everyone. So
Gotcha.
I'm fully confident that the Oilers will be competitive for a wild card spot next season. I don't think he's unreasonable to suggest that the team should be competitive this coming season.
I think they have got to find a coach for longer than one season.
I think that is a huge issue.
Because Hitchcock's not coming back.
No, he's not coming back as coach anyways.
It's going to be fucking a new coach like every year, basically.
Nugent Hopkins has had 9 seasons in the league with 7 coaches now.
Because McClellan was there for how long?
3 years. So basically, if you go back, it was Pat Quinn for a year or 2, Tom Rennie for a little bit, Ralph Kruger for the lockout shortened season, Dallas Eakins for a year and a couple of months, followed by Craig McTavish for like 20 games, followed by Todd Nelson for the rest of the season. Then it went to McClellan. Then it went to Hitchcock.
Fuck, man.
Like, Draisaitl in his end of season interview, I think, was talking about how it's like it's not as hard as we think it is to play for a new coach because a lot of them end up doing a lot of the same stuff. But it's still hard when you have that many different systems to try and learn, and eventually you're just going to tune them out and do your own thing.
Yeah.
That eventually it's going to be like, well, you'll be gone at the end of the year. Who cares?
Yeah.
And you just get so many mixed messages from everybody. the rotating door.
Yeah, they got to find some sort of stability there.
I was hoping that would be McLellan. And it did look like it for a little bit, but he just couldn't make do with what he had.
Right. I don't even know who's out there anymore.
The main name I've heard by the media is Dave Tippett. So
well, who's
he's-
the AHL coach?
Jay Woodcroft, our old power play coach. Remember when Edmonton had like the league worst power play? Yeah, that was Woodcroft.
Okay.
But he's doing well in the AHL, and I don't want to bring him up because that seems to be working.
Okay.
So the names I've heard fans propose are Todd Nelson again, who used to be the Oilers AHL coach, who was doing well down there, but he wanted a head coaching job, so he didn't want to stay as an assistant for McLellan. So he left, and I think he's an assistant somewhere else now or something, or he's head coach in
Europe or something?
I think he might be Dallas's AHL head coach.
Okay.
Maybe. I can't remember. And also Toronto's AHL head coach, Sheldon Keefe.
Ooh, I've heard that name.
I've heard him in a lot of things over the last few years, too. Now, those last two names are fans' proposals.
I've seen a lot of Leafs fans wanting Keefe to take over from Babs.
Okay. Which, I mean, I think he's been there for long enough that those Marlies' successes in the AHL are Keefe's, right?
Should poach him before Babs gets fired and he takes over.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the other, that, like you were talking about, the Oilers need a consistent coach for a few years, and that's actually something Holland mentioned, is that he wants to bring in a coach for the long haul, that he likes to bring in someone and work with them for a long time.
I mean, Babs. Could be Babs.
I don't want that, but okay.
I mean, they've got a relationship.
Yeah, they do.
They've won cups.
I mean, Dubas has said Babcock is staying in Toronto.
For how long?
Next
Till the
season.
beginning of the season?
Next season, yeah.
He's staying in Toronto for the summer?
I think he wants to go for a younger coach. I hope that's because he recognizes the game has kind of passed a little bit by some of those older coaches with that old school mentality, and that they need a little bit of a different personality at this point. But you never know.
Yeah, they got to get somebody in there for more than 3 seasons, I think.
Yeah, and with Dave Tippett being like the main name that I've heard so far.
No, thank you.
You don't want to see 55-point Connor McDavid?
No. I think nobody wants to see that.
We don't.
Except for maybe some salty Flames fans, but
yeah,
most people want to see like 200-point McDavid.
That would be so cool. Here, we'll just play him like in NHL 19, put him on every single line.
I mean, he could probably do it.
He basically did it for half the season.
Yeah. He'd probably get broken, but it would be one hell of a ride.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like Tippett, I think he is just that. He's like an old school coach. That you look at his coaching record, he has 3 decent years and then he just trails off. That's like the trademark coaching record of like those old school hard-nosed coaches.
Yeah,
really,
a few good
weird.
seasons, well, everyone buys in and they all get tired of you and then you get booted.
Yeah. So I don't think that's what Holland's looking for, so I think he's smart enough to kind of look at that record of the past and look at his style as like a strong defensive coach.
Yeah.
And realize like that's not what this team's built to do.
Do you think he'll have a very busy offseason besides finding a coach?
No. I think at this point, which is also, I never mentioned this, but why one of the reasons I'm really glad Holland has now got the team, because of his record in the past with drafting and developing. That's where this team is at. Like, I'm firmly a believer that you cannot build that successful of a team with a patchwork of trades and free agents. Yeah, and that's what this team's tried to do.
He's definitely shown in Detroit.
Exactly.
Not rushing into free agencies. And, I mean...
There's a few holes he needs to fill.
Yeah.
That's going to have to be through free agency. But the rush of prospects that the Oilers now have in the minors, that there's actually enough players coming up right away to kind of replace some of the older guys and to bring like a top to bottom organization system together.
Yeah.
That a guy coming up from the AHL is going to just slot right into the NHL. He's going to know the system. He's going to know the team.
Holland's had a pretty good trading record too, actually.
He doesn't make unnecessary moves. He doesn't he's not bold.
Just this last season, he traded with the Capitals. He got Bowie and a second. I think it was Bowie and a second for Jensen. And then he also did the whole thing with Tatar last season. Got a fucking haul. He got a haul for Tatar.
Yeah, that was a fleecing.
First, second, third.
That was a wow.
And he traded Nyquist this season to the Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what they got, but I mean, he's shown that he's willing to. I mean, get some assets back, and that's exactly what Detroit needed, right? They needed picks and young players, and that's exactly what he got.
Yeah, and from our last two GMs, Craig Bold Moves McTavish, and Peter, what the fuck am I doing, Chiarelli?
And it's like
we need someone who's going to be like more of a, reserved presence.
Like you have a confident GM who never really got fired, right? Because everybody knew Stevie Y was coming back.
Yeah.
And Holland kind of, whether he thinks this publicly or privately or not, he really gracefully stepped out of the way for Yzerman to take over. And he left Steve Yzerman like a really good situation to take over control in. And he stepped out, and you saw like Yzerman made a memo or something saying like really happy for Ken Holland for taking this new job. Like we worked so well together for so long, and I was looking forward to working with you again. But I know you're a really competitive guy, and you want to continue to lead a team to the playoffs for a chance to win the cup. So it's just really cool to see that relationship that they have, and he still has confidence because he never got fired. He never got shit canned. He did a good job in Detroit, and like that team was going in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't need to leave. Like he was doing a good job.
Yeah, he only left because he was like, I still want to be a GM.
Yeah.
Like it was basically
like he had a cushy like president of hockey ops. Was that his title? Or
probably, yeah.
So he was set, and yeah, he still got the desire to build a team and do the day to day. And I think he is definitely a step above the last few Oilers GMs.
A step above every single one since Sather.
Yeah.
I mean, Lowe had a couple of good years.
What's his cigar smoking per 60 though? Holland.
Haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. So I think he'll be a good GM.
Yeah. And another one last little thing about that is the reaction to it. Like Oilers fans, we've been positive about both of them. Like Chiarelli, we were like, "Oh, sweet, someone who has a cup, like winning experience and all that." But fans of Boston and like other people were like, "Oh, you guys are in for some fun here."
Yeah.
And with Holland, like Detroit fans are like, "Yo, good luck. This is gonna be great for you guys."
Yeah.
Like he's awesome. Like.
Yeah, like I said, like he didn't get fired.
Exactly.
So he's just like a good GM that had to step out of the position, and the Oilers were fortunate enough to be looking for a GM, so it was like a natural fit.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like he's the type of guy to like see this as an opportunity to like showcase his talent and skill to make something successful out of marginal bubble team to grow it into where it needs to be. So I think he's going to be a good fit, and I hope he changes the culture of the Oilers.
Yeah, so that is a major concern, that like how many times in the interview or in the press conference they had to mention directly with like his title that he will have full autonomy. I don't know if they're just doing that to make us think that, or because that was a major concern of like Nicholson's, of the fans, of the media. is that whether or not this GM is going to be able to do what he needs to do and not have this interference. But immediately in that press conference, they were like, oh yeah, Ken's going to have the ability to do this on his own with collaboration with Bob and Daryl.
Yeah,
Like,
I hope he's got full reign to do what he wants because I think he knows
what's
what
best.
is best more than anybody else in that organization because he has proven it in Detroit. And I think some people were saying online that like he might have some culture shock with the different ownership with like the Illiches in Detroit and, the ownership group in Edmonton. So whether that dynamic is going to work or not.
I really hope that it's Ken makes the decision and the collaboration just meant that like you work with them.
Yeah, like
that
you just
Ken
say to
makes
your
the
boss,
decision.
I'm doing this.
Exactly. That it's like he makes the decision, he gets the feedback, or like you talk to your boss or your like whoever because that's what you do, not because you have to, not because they're making the decision.
It's not collaborate on decisions. Hopefully it's
inform.
Yeah. Because if it's collaborate, like just why even have a GM?
Yeah.
If you're just we have to do it my way. Like, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Very stupid. So I'm fingers crossed, he'll fucking turn it into a playoff team. And
Well,
I think he's got the potential to do that.
If there's anything us Oilers fans are good at, it's having hope for whatever reason.
Yeah.
After 11 years of whatever.
I mean, I think there's reason to be after having a pretty successful, like a season with a lot of positives in it, and
an AHL
now
team
you have like
playoffs.
a good person at the top, like a proven guy who doesn't have as suspect of a track record as like Chiarelli, and he doesn't seem to be the guy to try and fucking sell the farm to make playoffs. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what it ends up happening with him, but I think he'll be good. I think he'll be a good fit.
I do too. I've warmed up to it a lot actually. I was a bit hesitant at first, but I kind of looked into it a little bit more and thought about it and was like, this is probably a good idea right now.
Yeah, and like anything coming out of Detroit. And like just
Very
like
true.
if you think of like some of the players that were there when
what connections is this guy gonna have too? I mean,
yeah, I mean maybe you'll be good trading partners with Detroit.
Yeah.
Not really, because you're going to be trying to do the same thing, but he's a respected guy, and he's not a guy who's going to do those stupid 1-for-1 trades and get fleeced, right? Like he fucking fleeced Vegas.
I would love if that happened.
Yeah.
They somehow traded, got like a first, second, and third for like a second liner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a big positive. I'm not even an Oilers like fan per se, but I think it's a cool. I'm a Red Wings fan.
Yeah.
Not like my number one, but they're up there for me, and he's definitely good. So we've rambled about that for like 20 minutes.
We're just excited.
Yeah. And the one last thing I want to say is just Columbus's off season is going to be insane, and I can't wait to see them at the draft when they have like one pick.
I think they have a third and a seventh, something like crazy like that.
Like just trade them so you don't even have to go.
Yeah,
just trade them and I don't know, just get picks for next year. Yeah,
it's funny. It's gonna be funny.
Really,
I mean, the top 5 free agents. It's like Panarin, Karlsson, Duchesne, Bobrovsky. Like, this is going to be a fun offseason because I can't see any of them being signed before July 1st.
Yeah.
Maybe Duchesne.
Maybe.
But I can't see any of the others getting a contract before July 1st.
Maybe they'll pick up Karlsson.
Who? Karlsson and Jones.
Yeah. And Morensky. Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. Anyway, I guess that's probably all we should...
That's about everything
really
that's happened,
to talk about. So, I guess with that, we'll call it wraps.
And once again, thanks for listening, everybody. And we will see you again next time.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and we share all sorts of weird stuff on there. And Facebook page. I'm probably forgetting some.
No,
I
that's
don't
it.
know.
That's it.
So, yeah, we'll see you guys next time.